Alright, I've been meaning to make this video for a while. So, the expanding Earth thing, I think it's correct. I don't know all the mechanisms. I don't know exactly how it happens. The gist of it is cosmic energy comes in, gets incorporated into Earth, and the whole sphere expands. Continental crust, ocean crust, doesn't matter. Everything expands. So here's what the Pacific looks like, and here's how I think it used to connect. So it looks like there were two specific shifts in the Pacific, right? Where not even looking at the actual, fault line, mid-ocean ridge type thing in the middle there. It just looks like that's how it would have connected. So here, I'll flash the lines on and off just so it's a little bit easier to picture. You can see on the ocean floor, there's an outline of that. Now here's the whole globe again. You can see the mid-ocean ridges where it's currently expanding from. It's growing every year, pushing out from those mid-ocean ridges. And again, the coastlines basically line up all around the world. It's hard to see with Antarctica because, it's spread out the way it is on the projection on the map. But connected to Australia, connected to South America. I think the tip of Africa also touched. All right, so now let's go around specific areas. You can see the tip of Greenland would have touched the top over there. Scandinavia would have touched, again, the side of Greenland. That island would have been connected to the British Isles. You can see that it's too symmetrical to be coincidental. Iceland would have touched there. And then, of course, Iceland is also attached to Greenland before that split apart. And then, the southern portion of Greenland. Actually, yeah, that would have been connected to the North American continent. You can see that's a mirror image of itself. And as those two are touching, you go right across the Atlantic, follow the lines on the ocean floor. They're there to guide your way. That would have connected right about in there. So Spain would have been connected to North American continent right about there. Is how I see it going. Now, Canada, the North American shield here. Again, it's just like picture it like putting sand into silly putty and then stretching it. At once it was connected in a straight line, but as you stretch it out, it just cracks along the weakest points. The water rushes in to fill the low ground, and there you go. I mean, it's too coincidental. It couldn't have just flooded that way or just been low like that on purpose. It couldn't have. It had to have split apart. You can see it's a perfect fit if you just shrink it. It's so simple. It's right in front of our eyes. Same thing, the Mediterranean cracked open. Africa pivoted. You can see there's a notch right there and a little dimple where it would have gone into. It connected. Africa pivoted to the south and west. It would have been up towards Europe to the north and east. And you can see it connects right there. Just take away the dark blue. Essentially, just squinch it. Take away the dark blue, the light blue is there. And, Cyprus would have connected down there. Greece connects down there. It's pretty obvious, just looking at the lines. And now let's go down here to Africa. You see that would have connected to the Arabian Peninsula. And yeah, you can see the lines on the ocean floor, how it moved. It's a tracer back in time. You can see, I think those two areas were connected. And if you follow that line right there, that, just go back in time. And this happened rapidly. It didn't happen over millions of years. So again, that's with that sand analogy. Just it gets stretched in a straight line. All of those little islands would have been connected to India. And just drawn out in a string. And now here, that's New Zealand, and down to Antarctica, I think those two areas connected. You can see all that's underwater, basically, except for a few islands, but you can see the line is still there. And if you notice on the bottom, it curves towards the right. And that's, again, a mirror image of Western South America. There's the notch, the coastline, and it curves to the right. And again, follow the lines. It's right there for you to trace your way back in time. So, I mean, like I said, I don't know the exact how it happened, but I'm pretty sure it happened. It's staring us right in the face. It's just you don't think about entire planets growing, like getting bigger in size, but they do. I think it's just part of galactic evolution. Starts out as a comet, turns into a planet, turns into a star, turns into a whatever. Just gets bigger and bigger the more energy it acquires. And this is what got me started on the whole thing. This is the most unnatural land formation I've ever seen. So I think South America was connected to Antarctica there. And again, just like Silly Putty, it was stretched. Africa pulled away from South America and just pulled the Pacific Ocean into the Atlantic. You could see there in that, the way the lines go from northwest to southeast. It just pulled it. And again, there, it's hard to see. But again, along the coast of Antarctica, there's no lines, there's no ridges, there's no hills, there's nothing. It's just flat. Like you can see the lines here, connect. But then when you get towards the coast of Antarctica, all the way around pretty much on the globe, there's nothing. It's just flat. I think it twisted. And then while you're here, you can see Tasmania pulled away like a drop, coming out of a dropper, just pulled right away. Again, New Zealand would have been connected to Australia. And again, this little piece here, south of New Zealand, would have been connected, down about, well, hold on. Again, yeah, sorry, that's the line on there. You can see how that connected to South America, to Antarctica. And I think that part connected to that part right there. Just follow the lines. It's pretty simple. Now let's go back to the Red Sea. And you can see, again, a divot, a little notch where they connected. It's way too symmetrical to be coincidental. It's impossible. So again, you can see on grand scales, on small scales, planet-wide, like ocean-wide. Like you can see the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic, and the Pacific opened up completely, and then you get that little slice of the Red Sea there. So it didn't happen all over at the same pace. And now, I think it also happened on land. It's not as easy to see as the ocean, because the traces are still there. On land, it gets washed away, and deposited upon. But this is northern South America. You can see, I think these were all connected. It's like with the ocean, you take away the dark blue, and basically the light blue is left. With land on this map, take away the light green, some of the dark green, and you get the browns, the yellows would have been there originally. And then the light green would have filled in where it stretched. And had it kept stretching, that eventually would have been below sea level, and then the water would have rushed in. The only reason it's above sea level now is the expansion stopped. And again here, I think that this area of Argentina down here would have been connected to right about there. The United States is no different. It's like, again, it's harder to see on land. And it's weird that there's a glitch in the program. Well, I don't know if it's got to be a glitch in the program. The Great Lakes are not blue. They're as if there's no water in them. But I think that, the Appalachians would have connected there. Those are Great Lakes, the St. Lawrence Seaway. That would have been connected up into Canada. And all of it just kind of expanded. And what expanded the most dropped below sea level. And this is Southeast Asia, Bangladesh, India type area. You can see the left would have been connected to the right there. That's split from east to west. And then going down the peninsula here, again, take away the dark blue. The light blue would have turned into green, which turns into yellow, which turns into brown. As it just gets expanded, it just goes down the color spectrum, basically, as it goes down in elevation. Again, this is all connected. That connects there. And it just plied apart. Plied apart in just a catastrophe. Unimaginable by today's standards catastrophe. So now let's go back up into India and the Himalayas here. And you see the same thing. symmetrical. It can't be a coincidence that it just looks like it would have fit. Everywhere you look on Earth, it looks like it would have fit. But we're told it doesn't expand. Who cares what we're told? We got to follow our eyes and follow our instincts. In my opinion. But I've been wrong before, so who knows? But again, it just looks like that would have connected right there to the range. And again, like I said, it's harder to see, but I think it's there's enough evidence. And again, just like a teardrop or a droplet falling away just got pulled. You can even see the connection points where it tried to hang on.